Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show, highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyles, community, and neighborhood. And now, from Four Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
I've always been an entrepreneur. I started as a shoe shiner when I was a kid. I used to clean garages. I shoveled snow. I carried golf bags, and I went to college. When I was in college, I typed papers for my classmates, and that's how I earned money. And I worked in the cafeteria, and so I always had spending cash. And then when I got out, I worked as an independent contractor in sales. And in my entire life, I've never once collected a paycheck where I've had somebody come to me each Friday and say, here's your check for the week. That's truth. And so in a way, that is, and now I own a business here in town, a real estate business that I've owned for 16 years. And before that, I was a costume jewelry manufacturer, but I worked for myself. Like, I didn't want to work for somebody else, right? Because I said, if I'm going to make a decision, I want to make the decision. Or if I want to have a committee meeting, it'll be a committee meeting of one or no more than two people. Because if you have more than two people, you look at the politics today. So I love what you guys are doing, and it's, putting yourselves on the line a little bit, because no one else is going to do stuff for you except yourselves, ever. It doesn't matter that you're in high school, or you're going to go to college, whatever. Okay, we're good. I think we're going to have a good time, right? Oh, yeah. Ruben, Lila?
I like your story, though.
It wasn't a story, it was the truth.
I know that. just telling us that, like, you just went out there to
I did. You know what? My father took me off.
You went out there to hustle,
I hustled.
Yeah.
And my father took me off allowance when I was 11 years old. He said, no more. You don't need it. I don't need it. He would buy my sister whatever she wanted. I didn't need it. He was teaching me to fend for myself.
Yeah.
And it's important.
Yeah.
So it was a true story.
Yeah.
He was like tough love, right? And sometimes I thought, God, why is he being so hard on me?
Yeah.
But he wasn't really being hard on me. He had the confidence to know that I could take it and learn. Every day I look back and I think about the stuff that he said to me, and it helped because it makes you think independently.
That's what I do with you guys in class all the time.
Yeah.
Why you do this?
Well, I think we are on, this is All Things Moore County, and say good morning. And this week, school is winding down this year, but it seems like the last 2 weeks, or this week and last week, we're focusing on students. Last week we had a group of middle schoolers from the West Pine Middle School who came on, and they're part of an international competition called Odyssey of the Mind, and we were just discussing that with my guests today. And these 7th and 8th, and I think one 6th grader are going to go to Ames, Iowa, to compete in the International World Finals about creative thinking outside the box, being spontaneous, working together but working independently. And they're trying to raise money for the trip, and that is their goal. The reason I'm bringing that up is today we are being joined by the executive director of More Forward, Kelly Cameron, who's been a past guest on the show. And you have the 3rd annual Shark Tank event coming up on Tuesday, the 17th. And it's not a coincidence that we had a show last week with middle schoolers doing something like that. But today you've got 5 very articulate and very bright Pinecrest students and one comedian that we've already noticed who are here, who I guess, Kelly, are going to be one of the teams being represented at the event.
They are. We actually have, we have 2 teams represented in the finals, and in the semifinals, everyone here participated in the semifinals for Pinecrest. Every high school had a semifinal, and for Pinecrest, everyone here represented a team for the semifinals. But 2 of these representatives are representing the finals on Tuesday.
So, for those people who live under a rock or who don't know, the Shark Tank is a very well-known television show.
Right.
You want to give us a little bit of background on?
Sure. This is our local competition that More Forward set up a few years back when we started our organization. Our organization is to, the purpose of it is to grow local youth entrepreneurs in our community and hopefully have these youth come back to us after they've gone off for their education, come back and start their local businesses.
Right.
More Forward put this competition in place as a venue for the youth to show their brilliance, their creativity, and their innovation to start local businesses that will support not only themselves and other members of our community, but the community in general.
Right.
So the competition, this is our third one that we've done. Every year seems to be getting better and better, and our business ideas seem to be getting better and better as well.
I want to introduce everybody, and I'm going to do it by first name. To my left, Adriana, you're a senior at Pinecrest High School.
Yes.
Welcome. It's good to meet you.
Thank you.
Is this the first time you have been involved in this event?
It is. I actually moved to North Carolina this year, and so this is my first participation in entrepreneurial activities.
Okay. So you speak like you're already in college.
I actually am. Technically, I finished my senior year in December, and I've started taking community college classes at Sandhills.
Yeah. So if I were your age and I was a student, you would have blown me away because I didn't do so well in school. And but it's good to have you. Where did you move from, and why did you come to Moore County?
I moved from Missouri, Fort Leonard Wood. My parents are in the military,
Okay.
So they are now stationed at Fort Bragg.
Great. Well, so you're involved in this event for the first time.
Yes.
Great. And you're the only senior at the table, I
Yeah.
think. Okay.
I feel pretty old.
Yeah. How do you think I feel? Gee, Brandon, what do you think? Could be her grandfather. You feel pretty old. Jeez. To your left, Ruben. Good morning.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
And
yeah.
you are a junior
Yeah, I'm a junior.
at Pinecrest. Is this your first time you've been in this event?
Yeah, I'm taking Entrepreneurship 1. Taking Entrepreneurship 1, and so, it's my first time doing Shark Tank, I guess.
Okay. And a first time doing radio.
Yeah. Yeah, first time doing radio, so I got to go up really close to the microphone.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. Why did you decide to take a class in entrepreneurship?
I was just trying to explore new things because I still have no idea what I'm trying to do when I grow up.
Me either.
Yeah. So I've decided that I'm either going to go into the business or medical field because that's where the money's at.
Right.
So I took entrepreneurship just to try new things, I guess. See where it led me, and
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it so far. I like Shark Tank.
Yeah.
So disappointed I didn't win to Cameron.
That was my question. Did you enjoy it?
I mean, yeah, it was different. It was different from a lot of other classes, because it shows real world experience and stuff like that, unlike other classes,
Right. So you said something very interesting, and I'd like to throw a question out to the table. So the reason you got involved in entrepreneurship was because you didn't know you weren't quite sure which field you wanted to go into, but you said that's where the money is at.
Yeah, hopefully.
So is it the money that motivates you?
Well, in part, but it's also just being your own boss and doing what you want to do. Not being commanded around by other people.
Right.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
Sounds like you.
It does.
And I think it'd be it's a lot different from having a normal job.
Yeah.
Being an accountant or something like that, because it's different.
So you don't want to have a normal job.
Yeah,
Like
something
9 to
different.
5.
Yeah, something different. That's
Okay.
the basic way to put it.
So I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm not trying to just hog all the time with Ruben, but if you guys don't mind, when we get to Brandon, we'll just have to have a whole separate show. So Ruben, when I was your age, my mom said to me this, and I'm going to ask you the same question, because I said the same thing. I said, I just want to do something to earn a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, but what are you passionate about? What do you really want to do? Pretend, she said, that all the jobs in the world don't pay any money. What would you do? That's what I said. Nothing.
I'm not really sure.
Right.
There's different things that interest me, but I feel whatever job I choose, I'm not going to be super. I'm not going to be super happy about it or whatever. Work is work in general. So you just go in, do your job, and then come out. And so if you're going to do with that mindset, like, might as well make a lot of money out of it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, just put in hard work, and, you know, things will work out in the end.
Yeah, she taught me at a young age. I thought she was crazy, but she was right.
Yeah.
She said, if you do what you love and you do what you're passionate about and you don't think about the money, then it will all kind of take care of itself. And I thought she just didn't get it. I mean, I thought she was completely out of step. And I wish she were around today so I could tell her how right she was. But that you can't always do that with your parents. But she was trying to teach me a lesson that today I can certainly see the validity in. And then people will follow you if you are on a mission because it's something you believe in, right? You believe in making money. That's okay. No, that's okay. I can tell you have passion. You just want to find where to put it.
Yeah, hopefully I'll find it soon enough, I guess, you know? Something that I'll enjoy, and yeah.
Okay. I didn't mean to take so much time, but I want to go down the table. Nyla, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine.
We're going to get you just a little bit closer to the microphone. Is this your first year with the Shark Tank?
Actually, it's not.
Oh, okay.
I had entrepreneurship first semester, and we had to make a project. So I didn't actually compete in the contest because it was like during the spring, but I did make another Shark Tank project.
Okay, and we're going to talk about that today, I assume, the project. So, you're a junior or a senior?
A junior.
Okay, and you also speak like you're in college, by the way, an old soul, so to speak.
I've been told.
You've been told, right?
Yeah.
Probably ever since you were a little kid. Are you the oldest in your family?
I'm not. I have an older sister and an older brother.
Really? Okay. You speak like the oldest in the family.
Yeah.
What is it about entrepreneurship that drew you to the class and to Shark Tank?
Actually, I started off in marketing.
You started off in marketing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're only a junior in high school?
Mm-hmm. I started off my freshman year in marketing.
Okay.
And I just kind of went along with the classes. I was just kind of put in it at first.
Okay.
But then I actually got interested in the content, and I just wanted to continue, and I've enjoyed it so far. I really love it. And I think this is what I want to do when I go to college.
To focus on
marketing.
To help people promote ideas, to communicate?
Yes.
You're going to be doing that Tuesday, aren't you?
Yes.
When you present. It's, they're going to listen to what you say and probably how you say it.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Style and content?
Yes.
If I'm misspeaking it, you
No,
just tell me to shut up.
No, you're spot on. That's exactly what we do. And just to clarify so that everyone knows, the marketing classes are prerequisites for going into my class. So they have a foundational knowledge of what marketing is all about and how to promote products before they can go into entrepreneurship.
So learning about this in school, learning about theory is one step, but now you have an opportunity to put it out there in the real world, to put yourself up against the competition, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you'll be sizing up the competition because that's what life is. You're always competing.
Yeah.
And you're ready to do it.
I am.
So last year you were behind the scenes, and this year you're going to be out front?
Yes.
Okay. Talking about people who are out front is a good way to introduce our next guest.
Yeah.
Now, and his name is Brandon. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're the guy with the infectious laugh.
Yes.
And you're going to do a tap dance, and you're going to charm the world, aren't you?
Most definitely.
Brandon, how old are you?
17.
You a junior or senior?
Junior.
All right. Entrepreneurship, what does it mean to you?
Well, what it means to me is basically just having your own business, basically.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
exploring new things and, stuff like that.
What do you think some of the important ingredients to having your own business would be?
Important ingredients? That's a good question. I would say hard work for one, because the reason why I would say hard work is because actually my dad is an entrepreneur.
Okay.
He had his own business. It was a restaurant. We had our ups and downs, and I saw what he went through. So that's just hard work every day. I mean, I used to work with my dad too. It was just hard work.
There are a lot of people who work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. They put in 35 or 40 hours a week. They go home and they enjoy their weekend. I bet your dad never did that in the restaurant.
He didn't. He didn't.
How many hours do you think he worked a week?
Man, I can't even say. I
Right.
just know, like, I mean, you have to be willing to put a lot of things aside. Like,
Right.
it's a lot of stuff we used to do once we were younger that we couldn't do once he got the restaurant.
Hmm. Entrepreneurs have to put a large amount of emphasis on the amount of time they put in. There's no clock.
Right.
You work until you can achieve your goals, and you keep moving on. Okay, and this is your first time in the shark competition?
It is.
Okay. Tell me about your teacher.
Oh,
How does he
man.
inspire you?
yeah.
What is it about?
Changing subjects, maybe.
I like Mr. Cameron. I like Mr. Cameron.
He's a cool guy.
He's a very cool guy.
He's teaching you guys some real life stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
Not just from a book.
Oh nah. He's a very great teacher. I tell a lot of my friends, I'm like, man, you should take entrepreneurship. I mean, it's just really fun. I love the trips we go on. We went to Biltmore. we went. What was another place?
It's not about the stuff we learn. It's about the stuff we go see, right?
Nah, that's not it. But I mean, that's the fun. That's the really fun part. Like, really fun part.
All right. We're going to come back to you, and we're going to introduce our last guest, Tyson.
How you doing?
You are Brandon Straight Man. That's how
I guess you could say that.
Still waters run deep. I can say that. You're a junior,
Yes, sir.
and you guys all, I have to tell you, just from listening to you speak, you all are like head and shoulders above where I was when I was a junior in high school. I grunted a lot, but I grunted well. You guys are very articulate, and you also appear older than a junior to me, and you speak very well.
Yeah, well, I am a junior, but I'm 18 years old. So.
Okay, so you're highly mature.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I get that.
Tell me about your take on the class and what entrepreneurship means to you.
Entrepreneurship. Well, to me, I think is in my opinion, is creativity. Like, you gotta have creativity in order to start a business. You gotta be sure of what your idea can, how can it impact the community and help, others. So that's what I think it is to me. So I mean, that's why I took the class, in order to, come up with an idea that would basically help out people in our community and this and that.
Right,
Yeah.
and hopefully to help out yourself too. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So you guys, this is the culmination of your class. You're going to put all the skills that you've learned together, and you're going to sort of test the waters here Tuesday night, right?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to talk a little bit more about, Kelly, the specifics about the event and some of the sponsors,
Okay.
some of the people that have made this possible, and why it's such an important part of the things we learn, because it's about the beginning of starting to work in a life, not just in a school environment. We're talking about the Shark Tank event, which is going to be this Tuesday at the Village Hall in Pinehurst,
Pinehurst Village Hall, we start at 10 a.m.
third annual,
Third annual.
and we got 5 very interesting participants. We're going to come back and talk. This is All Things More County.
Father gets up late for work. Mother has to iron his shirt. Then she sends the kids to school. In the middle of our street, our house. In the middle of our street, our house.
Welcome back to our second set, All Things More County, talking about the Shark Tank event coming up this Tuesday, actually all day. It's not in the evening. And even though we have the Pinecrest members here, we actually have 3 schools that are being represented and good, I can't even speak English, represented. And you want to talk a little bit about the day, what it's going to look like for the teams?
Sure. So we're going to start at 10 a.m. at Pinehurst Village Hall. We have 9 teams competing amongst all 3 of the local high schools. 4 teams from Pinecrest, 2 of which are represented here today. 4 teams from Union Pines, and 1, possibly 2 teams from Northmore.
Northmore, okay. And many of them, as we found out from this table, have been doing this. This is not their first time around.
Right. We've Lowell Simon, who teaches entrepreneurship at Union Pines, and I have pretty similar programs. We use, part of the curriculum for entrepreneurship is to have a final project that they work on. We both use the Shark Tank competition as their final project, so that we work on this all semester long. So we go through curriculum material, and then we overlay examples of using their individual business ideas, their Shark Tank ideas, as examples of that curriculum kind of real-world experience. And it's culminated into the Shark Tank competition, their business ideas they spent all semester on. Mm-hmm. And they've done some really great work. Some days I scratch my head and wonder what in the world is going on. But at the end of the day, they always pull it out, and I'm so impressed by what we do. Last year we were lucky at Pinecrest to have the winner for Shark Tank at from our school. And it was the first time we had entered in Shark Tank and done Shark Tank, so we're really happy about that. Uh-huh. But we had some really tough competition. Union Pines and Northmore had some really great teams as well. So I've been really impressed by all the students at all the high schools and the work they've put into this.
Yeah. Would your students say that the experience of being in your class and the culmination of it with a presentation at Shark Tank is something that empowers them and builds up their self-esteem?
Yeah, I would like to think the answer to that question is yes. We start the semester and they come into class, and I think they're expecting a traditional class where we have a textbook, we have lesson plans, and we kind of go through this and we listen to lectures and they answer some questions and they leave the class. My class, and I know Lowell Simon's class, are very different than that. We don't have a conventional class. We're very organic. We do have lecture at times, but then I kind of turn them loose and let them run with their ideas in their own directions. I give them a lot of freedoms in this class, and sometimes, that does come back and bite me as a teacher, but I think in the end it allows them to grow in a much more positive direction than if I tried to control it like a traditional class does 24/7.
Yeah, unlike a parent,
Right.
you'll have their listening, but then at some point you have to be able to produce the goods to them to prove that you are coming from a place of credibility. You want to talk a little bit about your background?
Sure.
How you got to this place?
Yeah, I come from a very different background. Lowell and I both do, actually. We're not traditional teachers. We both come from the world of business.
Right.
I was in banking for roughly 13 years and then moved into consulting from there. Started my own consulting firm working with retail organizations and financial institutions in wealth management.
Right.
So I approached teaching kind of by accident, I guess you would say. I never really wanted to be a teacher when I started at school. Much like Ruben was saying earlier, I chased money, and it was all about where can I make the most money as quickly as possible.
Right.
And I talk about this in class all the time because every single one says, "Why did you leave banking and go into this teaching thing?" And I tell them, it's about passion. It's about, as you get older, you learn the things that are really, truly important to you and what truly makes you happy.
Right.
And I tell them every day that at some point you're going to learn that money doesn't make you happy. What makes you happy is whatever you go home at the end of the day and you feel good about yourself.
Right.
And when you reach a point where you're making, in the upper 6 figures and you go home and you're not happy, it's just not worth it. And so I had to really take a look at what made me happy at the end of the day. And when I was in the corporate world, I led a lot of training classes, and I really enjoyed educating and developing and showing people different paths that they haven't thought about before. So I kind of stumbled into this teaching gig, and I really enjoy it. Some days I miss the corporate world, but for the most of the part. I enjoy working with these guys. Now, sometimes the Brandons of the world challenge me, but at the end of the day, I can still go home and be happy at what I'm accomplishing here.
Yeah. You guys just listened to your teacher speak. Adriana, why don't you give me your impressions about what he just said?
Well, when I first met Mr. Cameron, it was at the Meet the Teacher night, and I knew right off the bat that it wasn't going to be a traditional class. He was a professional man, and he was like, I come from this background, and I am this type of man, and I was like, that is my teacher.
She's so impressive.
She is.
I am very
She
impressed.
is.
Yeah.
The first day of class, everyone's in school for different reasons. And he talked about the Shark Tank idea, and I was like, wow, this is great. I can make some money. This is awesome. I'm a creative person. I can do this. And I was just really intrigued by the entire thing, and he is a great teacher, yeah. I'm not going to say, at times I was like, I'm just tired. I don't want to come to class today.
Yeah.
But that's school. It's not just one class. It's just life in general. But he did his best,
Yeah.
for the entire class. So
Very well said. Yeah, you're an impressive speaker. Nyla, what are your impressions? And you, the same. These aren't compliments, by the way. There's a difference
Yeah.
between complimenting somebody and telling them the truth. These are truths. Nyla, give me your impressions of Kelly and what he said.
Actually, when I first met Mr. Cameron, I was a little intimidated. I was kind of scared.
Yeah.
I moved to Pinecrest in the middle of the school year, and I was a little intimidated by how big the school was. I come from a very, very small school,
Right.
and we didn't compete like this in Shark Tank and have different competitions. So I was immediately intrigued and excited about it because, of course, you can win money, and I would have my own business, and that's what I want to do. And I was really excited about the class.
Guys, the three of you I want to speak to. Brandon, and very well said, Tyson and Ruben. So there's a prize at the end.
There is, yeah.
But if you don't win the prize, there's still a prize. Can we talk about, what do you guys think that would be?
Knowledge.
Okay. What else? The women run the world. They run the show. They run the studio.
Yeah.
We are just here like pawns.
Yeah.
If you guys want to try to get a word in edgewise and be politically correct, you can take a shot at it. Brandon. What do you think?
What I was going to say before,
you were interrupted with the answer.
Rudely interrupted. It's just great experience,
There you go. That's 2 words, right to the point.
Well said.
But he happens to be right. The experience of doing it, even if you fail, right? That doesn't mean that's just one step. You just have to keep failing until you can succeed.
Mr. Cameron teaches us that you learn from your failures, and that you gain experience from that, and it just helps you in the long term.
What do you think? Do you think he's right?
I think he's.
I can tell you that he is right.
It makes me feel better about failing, I guess.
What would you say, Kelly? Most people fail about 80% of the time, and 90%.
That's one of the biggest criteria for success is previous failures. And
right.
I've mentioned to the guys in class before, but when I worked for RBC Bank, one of the prerequisites for being promoted to an executive level is you had to have had some type of failure, and what did you learn from that? And if you couldn't articulate that,
right.
then of course you didn't get promoted. So failure is extremely important, especially in the field of entrepreneurship.
Yeah. And Tyson, experience is a great teacher, isn't it?
Yeah.
You learn from experience because you develop a perspective. The next time something happens, you know how to deal with it better?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Most definitely. It's just that, I don't know, Kelly, when he just taught us in class how to, in order for us to make, I don't know, he just taught us valuable, lessons about how, even though we fail in life, we can still keep moving forward because
right.
What's the point of stopping? You already know how it is.
Right.
And once you keep, going, you're going to get better, and soon you will get that attention that you've been waiting for.
Yeah.
So just keep moving forward, and then eventually you'll get where you want to be.
Yeah. Do you have both your two teams here? So you have two specific projects that you're going to be pitching. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are two separate teams here that'll go to the finals. One group Tyson represents, and his business is called Tunes, and then the other business Nyla represents, and hers is called Fluorosynthesis.
Could you explain that to me?
The name of my business is Fluorosynthesis, and it's an app. It's a plant scanning app, and what it does is like you can scan a plant and you be able to identify it and get useful information.
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
Yeah, I thought
That
so.
is really cool.
Like the area it's native to, poisonous, non-poisonous, edible, how to garden it in your own garden,
Wow.
just different information like that. So that's what it is.
What made you come up with that?
At first, because I had to. I already had another project because I participated in first semester. So I had a restaurant first semester. But in the one class that we had, Mr. Cameron said everybody had to come up with a bunch of ideas. We had to put sticky notes on the board. Everybody had to do 5. And I made an app. And that's how I came up with it.
I genuinely think that's a pretty cool idea.
I think so, too.
The world gets information a lot differently today than it did 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That's kind of forward thinking. Adriana, you're on one of the teams?
No,
You're your own person.
Well, she was on a semifinal team.
I didn't make it to the finals, but that's okay.
Okay.
Everything happens for a
That's
reason.
okay. That's right. Humility and experience.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, but I can tell you if I was a junior, I'd be back. So it's okay.
Okay. We had a young lady that was a 7th grader last week on, and she was qualified to be on National Public Radio, NPR, and I think you could be the next version of her, of being on NPR the way you speak.
Thank you.
Ruben, which team are you on?
Well, my group was Groovy Racks, and basically, yeah, pretty cool name, yeah. Basically,
Looks like Jason.
basically, it's like you know what a UV light does? It like disinfects surfaces and stuff like that.
Yeah?
So like we put like a UV light on like a towel rack, and so that way as your towel dries, basically it gets disinfected at the same time. And so yeah, you could just have your towel up, and UV light
Smart.
will show on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Was that
I
your
did-
idea, or did
no,
you?
yeah, we came up with the idea. Me and I had 2 other partners.
Okay.
And yeah, we just came up with the idea, and unfortunately, we didn't get to the finals. But like you said, learn from your failures, right? Yeah. So I think I might take entrepreneurship 2 next year, and hope I might come up with a better idea.
Yeah.
Because as Mr. Cameron said, it's not so much the actual product, but it's like the way you present it. And so I guess next year the presentation could be a little bit better.
Uh-huh.
And so that's what I guess I'm striving for.
The presentation?
Yes, the actual presentation for I guess the semifinal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You guys, you're learning that indirectly, right? And directly. How many years have you been teaching entrepreneurship?
I started 2nd semester last year, so a little over a year now.
Yeah, and it was about a year ago that you were on, and we spoke a lot. Melissa was here,
Yep.
and we spoke about More Forward. And they do great work in the community because the lessons from Shark Tank are the things that you're going to be using every day the rest of your lives. We're going to come back in the third set. We're talking about the upcoming Shark Tank event at the Village Hall this Tuesday, the 17th. And we're privileged to have 5 very gifted students, 1 very gifted teacher, and then Brandon, who doubles as a comedian. Multifaceted talent. This is All Things Moore County. We'll be right back.
Told you that you got to in the middle of all. Father gets up late for work. Mother has to iron his shirt. Then she sends the kids to school. In the middle of our street, our house. In the middle of our street, our house.
Welcome back to our final set, talking all about the Shark Tank. And these events just don't happen. They cost money. They require sponsorship. They require some dedication from the community. You've got an impressive group of judges this year who are going to be listening to the pitches and the stories and the programs. You want to talk a little bit about those, Kelly?
Sure, thanks. We have 4 judges this year, or sharks as we like to call them.
Right.
Our sharks, we're really impressed to have the individuals that we have on our panel this year. Just to really kind of recap how the day is going to run really fast. The students have 5-minute pitches, or up to 5 minutes to pitch their ideas, and then there'll be 10 minutes for questions from the judges. The judges will receive a kind of a business summary packet the first 2 hours when they get there before the students start pitching. There's a 1-page executive summary of the business itself. Then there's 1 page of startup costs and 1 page of their profit loss statement for the first year.
Yeah.
So the judges will review that, do some research. The judges that we have, we think, are really knowledgeable, especially in some of the areas that they'll have business ideas being pitched to, but also they're really good local entrepreneurs who understand what Moore County needs and wants. One of our first sharks that we have is Anthony Parks, who owns the ice cream parlor here in downtown Southern Pines.
Right.
So we're really excited to have Anthony on board. He is a younger entrepreneur in our local area, been very successful, and we're very excited to have him on board to help not only judge our competition, but also hopefully offer some advice and some guidance to some of the teams after the competition itself.
Right.
We also have another local entrepreneur, Micah Niebauer, and I always get his last name.
You got it right.
Did I say it right? Okay, good.
You said it
I'm
right.
glad I did. I've been practicing it for a while.
Yeah.
From Southern Pines Brewery. Again, another young local entrepreneur that we have who I think is going to offer quite a bit as far as advice and mentorship moving forward after the competition. We also have Cameron Cruz. Of the famed R Riveter. So if anyone has watched the real Shark Tank show, she pitched not that long ago and received a $100,000 investment from Mark Cuban. So we're really excited to have Cameron Cruz on board, not only from the perspective of being a local successful entrepreneur, but having the experience of been through Shark Tank, knows what it is to put together a pitch, a business plan, and present it to a bunch of people at a judging competition. And then last but not least, we have Bryles Johnson. Bryles is from the Raleigh area, so we branched out a little bit to bring someone here who's not local. However, she does have family that's from the area, so there is some ties directly from that route. Bryles is the executive director of the North Carolina Women's
Business Center.
Thank you.
Raleigh.
Make sure I get that right. We're really excited to have her experience coming on board. She doesn't only work with women entrepreneurs, she also works with men entrepreneurs, but their main focus is promoting women in the entrepreneurial field. So we're really excited to have that perspective on board as well. So I think we have a really solid team this year, not that we haven't had in the past. So I want to make sure that everyone in the past knows we really appreciate it, but we're really excited about the judges we have this year.
Yeah, and you've got Duke Energy and First Bank, I guess, as your 2 anchor sponsors.
We do. Duke Energy has been a fantastic partner for More Forward. They have provided us support for several years now, and if it wasn't for Duke Energy, a lot of what we do with More Forward wouldn't be possible. So we do want to thank Duke Energy for stepping up to the plate again this year and helping sponsor our 3rd annual Shark Tank. We also have First Bank. First Bank has been a tremendous sponsor for ours. We have 2 of their employees who are members of our board of directors. Andrew Lyons.
Great guy.
Yep. And Andrew will also be emceeing the day on the 17th. He emceed for us last year, did such a fantastic job. We asked him to come back.
Right.
So we're excited to have him on board. And, of course, we want to thank as well Moore County Schools. If it wasn't for their support, of course, we don't get a lot of monetary support from the school system. However, they do a lot of in-kind support for us that if it wasn't for that in-kind support through people and the knowledge and experience, we would not be able to put this competition on.
Yeah. A couple of you, well, I guess, Adriana, you're the lone senior at the table.
Yes.
And you've already started your college courses. Yeah. Can I ask just everybody what they're hoping to do in college, what your focus of interest will be?
I'm wanting to go through like the marketing field and become a market marketing research analysis
Okay.
person.
Okay. That's kind of, Nyla,
Yeah.
that's kind of right up your alley, huh?
Yes. I was actually thinking about double majoring when I go to college because I'm also interested in science. I wanted to double major in biology and marketing
Yeah.
and minor in sales.
And Ruben, we know that you are,
As stated
you're,
previously.
you're
yeah.
evolving.
Yeah, I'm getting there. You
Yeah,
know,
it's
going
a
on the
process.
journey still.
But
Yeah.
you know what? The journey never ends. It doesn't matter. I still am journeying into what I do. Things change all the time. When I was your age, I thought, well, by the time I'm 30, I'm going to make X amount of money, and I'm going to enjoy my 40s and 50s. I had it all planned out decade by decade. I was wrong every step of the way. I couldn't have been more wrong about what I thought the way things would turn out.
Yeah, for me, I kind of want to be like unpredictable. I don't want to have like my life set out because then it's just like
Yep.
you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. It's just I don't want that. I want just to see where life takes me, I guess, and just.
You know what's
Go
really
with one
interesting? These guys are growing up in a different world. When I grew up, more so than you, there were actually careers that you could have for a lifetime. Today, that isn't the case. Today, people will move on a dime for a better job opportunity, right? So you have to have a skill set that can be adaptable because the economy is different, the world is different. There'll be new jobs. We don't even know what they're going to be yet. Crazy world that they're starting out in.
It's interesting, Bill. You said what you said about you've mapped out your life, and every decade you said, here's
Yeah.
where I want to be, and then you've learned I was wrong every single time.
Everyone-
I did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And I try to talk to them about that, and it seems like they've heard that message. But you can sit here and say, here's the direction I'm going to go, but you never know at the end of the day where you're going to end up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the skills that we're developing at More Forward through the Shark Tank competition will help them figure out what they want to do moving forward and how to adapt to these changing environment like you're mentioning.
I don't know what it is about us when we're raised as kids. We're raised to believe there's a finish line. There is no finish line. It's a goal that you meet, and then there's another finish line.
You gotta move on.
You got to keep moving on, and if you don't keep tap dancing, somebody's going to pass you. Brandon's going to use that line. He's already written it down. I can see that. But it's a very competitive world out there. These judges are, Kelly, they're going to actually ask them questions to defend what they're presenting. It's not just you present it and go, "Oh, how did I do?" They're going to try to punch holes in it, aren't they?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
What's that?
You're gonna sink.
They got a taste of that at our semifinals, and I think some of
Yeah.
them were kind of shell shocked, like, "Oh my gosh, you're not gonna."
I was like,
tell
chill,
me- You're not gonna tell me all niceties like Mr. Cameron does. I think it's good for them. I think it's good to hear real opinions.
Right.
We do a lot of sugarcoating these days, and I don't know if that's helped us out too much as a society. And I think the more honest that we can be with each other, it helps us improve. We were talking about failures earlier. I don't really look at it as failures. I look at it as learning opportunities.
Right.
And the more that we can be honest with each other and help them grow and learn, I think it's going to benefit us all. So I'm kind of excited about it, and I know they are to some extent. A little nervous, but I think they're excited about it.
Yeah. If I throw a word out to you guys, give me your impression of what I'm saying or your thoughts. Initiative. A moment of silence.
My mom said that to me today.
Initiative or a moment of silence?
Initiative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I would
Brandon?
say, like, that's like taking the initiative to do something. Taking the initiative to do something, like making that decision to go forward and start on something, and take that extra step and move forward. Like, don't just sit and be where everyone is. Like, just take the initiative to go forward. Don't stop where you think it's okay or where everyone else is at.
Yeah.
Just go forward.
Yeah. Don't be a follower. Be a leader.
Right.
Self-generate. Right. Create. Does that?
Like you said earlier, life isn't gonna do any favors for you, and
Oh.
you're the only person that can
Big fat zero, guys. Zippo. Life owes you nothing, right? Nothing. You have to make it happen. And when you make it happen, people will be. Let me ask you a question. Aren't you influenced by people that you think either have an aura or have a center of influence that you're drawn to and you listen to?
Yeah.
Well, and there's, huh?
I said most definitely.
Right.
Like, we all have like an idol or a person we look up to motivate us to do whatever we want to do in life. So
It's an initiative.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you have role models, and I'm sure in many cases your folks, I'm sure your teacher, but there will be people that influence you as you go. And what is it about those people that influence you, that draw you? Because that's what you can create for yourselves with others. Not trying to do it on purpose, just by being in a place that you're being genuine, you're being passionate. I'm talking too much, but I can't help it.
You're saying good things.
But it's so true. You just have to self-generate. You have to make things happen. Don't wait for the world to give you something, because they'll just pass you right by. Adriana, you go ahead. You had something to say.
This morning, my mom said, "You're the conductor of your own train," and I was like, you hate when
Did you roll your eyes to the left or the right?
Yeah, I did. I was like, "Oh,
Mom, what
I
is
hate
wrong
that
with
you're
you?"
always right," but
She is right.
That's the only thing you can do. You can only do what no one can force you to do anything. So.
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you ever get on a bus?
Oh yeah, every morning.
Yeah.
All right.
Every morning.
Would you ever ride a bus where you had two sets of hands on the wheel, where there were two drivers? I wouldn't get on that bus, would you?
No, sir.
You got one driver, one set of hands, right? One leader.
Right.
You get on the bus, you don't even think about it. So you can drive your own bus, and that's what you're going to probably find out this week. And if you don't find it out Tuesday, you will get closer to finding it out as a result of Tuesday, right? It's a great course that you teach. There's so many kids today who have this, and we talk about it all the time, the sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
Right? Can you talk a little bit about that? Because it looks like you're trying to break that mold here.
It's an interesting subject that you bring up, that sense of entitlement. I don't really know where that came from, to be honest with you. It's like we woke up one day and
The world owes me a favor.
Yeah, kids these days feel like they're owed everything, and
right.
I don't know. There's a lot I could say about this. I'm not quite sure if you want me to say it all on air.
I say it all the time. So help yourself. I'm on board with you.
But I try to do a lot of teaching them real-world things, real-world lessons.
Right.
I try to be as honest with them as possible, but yet at the same time be encouraging so that I don't, destroy that initiative, that innovation, that creativity,
right.
that they have in them. Because I know that spark is so fragile, and if you destroy that spark,
right.
you can't cultivate it and grow it. But at the same time, everyone needs to understand that, like you said earlier, the world owes you nothing.
Yeah.
No one owes you nothing, and there's no one here who's going to help you better than yourself.
Right.
And you do have to have that initiative to pick yourself up and just move forward, because there's not going to be anyone there holding your hand. And I also am a college professor. I teach at North Carolina Wesleyan College, but I tell them all the time that once you leave high school, the babying stops. In college, the professors will just give you a 0. There are no excuses. Here's the deadline. You turn it in, and you move forward.
Right.
And Adriana, you're getting a taste of that now at Sandhills.
Absolutely. There's there are no makeups and things like that. You miss it. It's 0.
This is going to be a very interesting affair. It's going to be the Sandhills Shark Tank. It's organized by More Forward. It's a great organization in Moore County. It's going to be Tuesday, May 17th at the Pinehurst Village Hall. Duke Energy and First Bank are some event sponsors. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for people to come out and to see you guys developing and learning the skills that are going to help you be more successful and more fulfilled in your life as you grow. I want to thank you guys all for coming in. Adriana, Ruben, Nyla, Brandon, Tyson, and Kelly. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, we love what you guys are doing, and whatever happens, you're going to be winners. This is All Things Moore County. Have a great week. Thank you.